folks. Thanks for tuning in for another Cruise with Smooth. Sorry I've only put up a couple videos this week. It's just been pretty busy, even though I'm on summer maintenance shutdown. Just been pretty covered up at home, dealing with everything. Hope everybody had a safe 4th of July. Don't know how many people can't say this, but I came through with all 10 fingers still on my hands. I did burn my fingers though. We were doing some of the mortars, and they had very quick fuses on them. Like they were long fuses, but they burned real quick, like as far as the number of feet per minute that they burn at, or the inches per minute, however you measure that. And one of them burned through my fingers right after I lit it. So that was the only injury. Before I get into it today, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If there's anything you want to know my opinion on, give it to me. And just send it to me in a message or comment, and I'd be more than happy to give you my opinion on it. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is, I've been talking with several people via message, face-to-face chats, things like that, about how to get past where we are as a nation, where, I kind of thought that the nation that would hunker down and flatten the curve and suffer through a lockdown and unemployment and everything together, I was truly expecting that would be a unifying time for us as a country. And, well, then George Floyd happened, which was a terrible tragedy and a senseless, brutal loss of life, and all the aftermath of that's happened. And now we're more divided than we were 2 years ago, in my opinion. You've got people that are trying to do business with only black-owned businesses. You've got people that are trying to reduce the number of white friends they've had. You've got You've got people that are accepting guilt for things they didn't do. You've got people that are blaming folks for things that the people they're blaming didn't do. It's just getting more and more stupid, more and more out of hand. So I got thinking, what's the end of this, or how do we walk this back to where we're more unified? And here's kind of where I'm at. If you look at organizations that come together, where people come together of their own free will, be it, places of employment, places of worship like church, divisions of the armed forces, clubs of any sort, Masonic from, VFW, Legion halls, car clubs, whatever. All the folks that are there for a common purpose. And, whether it's to earn your paycheck, to do whatever, you're there for the same purpose as the other guy. And you might disagree with him on 90% of talking points, 90% of opinions, 90% of things. But that's still why you're there. Tell you a story about two coworkers I've got. There's one guy, Danny of I'm No Expert, that I go on his show sometimes. He and I, 5 years ago, when I started work, when we became coworkers, we disagreed on 95% of things, more or less. He was very anti-gun, very pro Bernie Sanders. I was pulling for Ben Carson at the time. He reluctantly voted Clinton. I reluctantly voted against Clinton. But we just disagreed on everything. But we had some of the best discussions back and forth. And I said, I really enjoy talking to you because you never assume my motives or, question whether or not this matters to me. Like, I'm not for common sense gun control. I think that's too blanket a statement. I want to see the exact specifics. And he never assumed that I didn't care about the victims of mass shootings or those that died tragically. And same goes for me. And we had some of the best discussions back and forth. And we still do, because we still disagree on a lot of stuff, but the list has narrowed a bit. But the whole conversation that we had was about the idea of producing policies that would have made America a better place to be. And that's how we talked and what we talked about, and voiced our disagreements and counter arguments and on and on and on. It was a lot of fun. But getting back to that point, there was another coworker that he and I disagree on a lot of stuff politically, not quite as much as Danny and I did, but we had to kind of agree to disagree on politics and not to talk about it. It's just, I'm not blaming any one person, but there's a personality difference. We can talk about anything. He and I are both big foodies. He can talk